Hi everyone, and welcome to a small update. I've reached the end of May in my 2018 season replay, playing every single game, not all by payoff pitch, some by the fast results method of payoff pitch, but every single game nonetheless. And I'm going to give you a quick update on how things stand after the end of May going into June. So let's see if I can zoom in a little bit on this. Don't really need to see the scores. So, as of the end of May, the National League East is led by the New York Mets, 32 and 22. They are 4 games ahead of the Atlanta Braves, 29 and 27, who lead Washington Nationals 26-30, and Miami Marlins have moved off the bottom slot in this last day, 23 and 33, with Philadelphia Phillies 22 and 32. In the Central, Milwaukee Brewers lead the division 38 and 19, and they're 5.5 games in front of Pittsburgh, 8.5 games in front of St. Louis Cardinals, 13 games in front of the Cubbies, and 16 games in front of the Cincinnati Reds. St. Louis are on a 4-game losing streak at the moment, and in the West, the Los Angeles Dodgers are half a game in front of the Arizona Diamondbacks, 5 in front of Colorado and San Francisco, and 11 in front of San Diego. In the American League, the Boston Red Sox lead the East 37 and 20, 9.5 games out over Toronto Blue Jays, 10 out over the Tampa Bay Rays, 14 out of our New York Yankees. The Yankees cannot put a run together, and bringing up the rear with the worst record in the major leagues is Baltimore Orioles, 12 and 44, 24.5 games back. The Yankees are on a 5-game losing streak. The Orioles are on a 4-game losing streak. In the Central, Cleveland Indians at 32 and 23 are 3.5 games in front of Minnesota, 6.5 in front of Detroit and Kansas, and 8 in front of the White Sox. And in the West, the Los Angeles Angels at 33 and 24 are half a game in front of the Seattle Mariners and the Houston Astros, 1 in front of Oakland and 7 in front of Texas. If we were to have the wildcards today, the National League wildcards would be the Diamondbacks and the Pirates, and the American League would be the Mariners and the Astros. Now, looking at May itself, these are the actual performances for the teams in May, with the Mets 25 and 13, Miami 15 and 13, Washington 14 and 13, Atlanta 13 and 16, and the Phillies a very poor 7 and 19. Milwaukee 21 and 6, St. Louis 15 and 12, Pittsburgh 14 13, Cubbies 13 and 14, and the Reds 11 and 17. In the West, the Dodgers are 18 and 10 for May, San Francisco 16 and 11, Colorado at 500 with 13 and 13, Arizona 13 and 14. They went through a bad spell near the end of the month, and San Diego 13 and 15. In the American League, Boston 16 and 13, Tampa 14 and 14, as were Toronto. New York Yankees 6 and 19, only bettered in a bad sense by Baltimore 5 and 23. In the Central, Cleveland 15 and 13 with Kansas City Royals Chicago 13 and 14, Minnesota 12 and 14, and Detroit 12 and 17. And then finally in the West, the Rangers 19 and 10. Even though they're at the bottom of the division, they're at the top for May. The Angels 17 and 12, as are Oakland and Seattle, and Houston are 15 and 13. Every team in the West are above 500 for May, which I think in itself is a bit of an achievement. So that's the update for May. We're moving on to June, so hopefully we'll get some more games, and we will be back shortly with another video.